Hello, and welcome back to DevOps Quick Bites, your friendly guide to Salesforce DevOps best practices, one bite-sized topic at a time. Today we're talking about something that isn't always top of mind, but can have a huge impact on the health and sustainability of your Salesforce org. Data archiving. So, if that sounds good to you, stick around. Now, when we think about DevOps, we tend to focus on things like CI/CD, source control, automated testing, release pipelines, basically how we build and ship changes. But the data inside your Salesforce org is also part of that equation. It affects your performance, your storage costs, your compliance obligations, and your user experience. And here's the thing, it doesn't just matter to architects at one end or admins at the other. If you're a developer, bloated datasets mean slower tests and harder debugging. If you're in ops, storage overage hits your budget. If you're in compliance or security, unmanaged data can expose you to risk. And of course, if you're a product owner or a team lead, that sluggish report that your users are always complaining about, it might just be because of 5 years of untouched data clogging up your org. So even if archiving isn't in your job title, the impact of unmanaged data is in your day-to-day work. And if you don't have a strategy for managing that long-term data growth, essentially it's going to become everyone's problem. Salesforce gives you limited space for both records and files. For most orgs, you get 10 gigabytes of data storage and 10 gigabytes of file storage, plus a small allocation per user license. It sounds like a lot, but it adds up fast. Think about how much history you generate. Cases, opportunities, emails, call logs, support attachments, chatter files maybe. Every new field, every integration, every audit trail event, it's all data. And unlike code, which you can version, store and deploy on demand, data tends to pile up quietly in the background. It's often overlooked until you're staring at a warning message that says you're at 95% storage capacity. Suddenly those reports are slowing down, automations get brittle, new record creation is throttled, and you're facing a tough choice. Delete something or pay more. Now, as much as we all love our Salesforce platform, we have to remember that it is a multi-tenant cloud, and increasing that storage isn't cheap. I like to think of it like a garage. You start off with a clean, organized space, but over the years you accumulate stuff, boxes of old files, tools you haven't tried in a decade, that half-broken treadmill you swear you're going to fix, and then one day you can't actually fit your car in there anymore. Well, that's what can happen to a Salesforce org if you don't manage the data lifecycle. You end up with a bloated, inefficient environment that's hard to work in and expensive to maintain. And it's not just about performance and cost. There's some real compliance implications too. If you're in a regulated industry like healthcare, finance, legal or education, you might be required to retain certain records for 5, 7 or even 10 years. But that doesn't mean that you want that data cluttering up your operational org, triggering automations or slowing down any queries you might want to run. This is where data archiving comes into play. The idea is quite simple. You move your cold data, records you no longer actively use, out of your primary Salesforce org and into a secure, accessible archive. You keep hot data, what your users are working on day to day, live and fast. Think of archiving as the midpoint between keeping everything in production and deleting it forever. A good archiving strategy means better system performance, lower storage costs, faster development cycles, and improved compliance posture. It also means fewer headaches when you're debugging flows or managing automation logic, because you're only working with that relevant current data. This has become increasingly important with AI and agents, where bad data can lead to bad decisions and agents that just don't work. But how do you actually do archiving well on Salesforce? Salesforce doesn't offer much in the way of native tooling for archiving, especially when you want to archive whole object graphs, including child records, files, or attachments. And that's where specialized Salesforce archiving tools can help make the process much easier. Gearset offers a robust archiving solution that's purpose-built for Salesforce. It lets you define smart policies to identify and archive the records that you no longer need in your production org, while preserving them in a secure, searchable, off-platform archive. And it's not just about standard objects. Gearset can obviously handle custom objects, files, attachments, even related records via master detail or lookup relationships. You can preview what's going to be archived, run it on demand or schedule it, and even set retention rules so that data's deleted automatically after your compliance window expires. Under the hood, Gearset uses the Salesforce bulk API with hard delete to remove records cleanly, freeing up that space. But it never throws anything away that hasn't been backed up and stored securely. Archives are encrypted, access controlled, and fully auditable. You can restore individual records or batches at any time. And for your end users? Well, Gearset includes a Lightning Web component called the Archive Viewer. You can add it to record pages, say on an account or a contact, and let the users view related archive data right inside Salesforce without having to restore anything first. So that's a great way to bridge that gap between that operational efficiency and user transparency. So here's the bottom line. Salesforce storage is limited, expensive, and not designed for long-term data retention. Archiving is the sustainable strategic way to manage growth, stay compliant, and keep your org performant as your data matures. Gearset gives you a powerful and elegant way to do just that. But even if you're not using Gearset, the principles still apply. Be intentional about what data lives in your org and for how long. Define clear policies, align your teams, and make archiving that proactive part of your org management, not a last-minute fire drill. So that's it for today's DevOps Quick Bite. If you found this useful, don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss an episode. And if you're ready to take control of that data sprawl, now's a great time to check out Gearset's archiving tools, or at least start the conversation in your team. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.